Today I want to consider the concept of learning. Where does learning begin and when does it actually start? Many might think that learning begins around the toddler phase, and some might think that learning starts right after birth. However, researchers have found that learning begins soon after conception, while the fetus is still developing. Babies learn many things while in utero, including taste, smell, language, and hearing, all while in the comfort of their mother's womb. For years, doctors assumed that babies were born without any knowledge about the outside world, but recent research is questioning that assumption and offering clues to what babies comprehend in utero, and what they remember after they're born, and how that information actually prepares them for the world outside the womb. Some of you might have experienced a pregnant woman who sings to their baby. I don't know about you, but I always thought the idea of singing to your child who was still inside the womb was a bit crazy. I always thought that the baby couldn't hear them, but babies can actually hear many sounds even while in utero. Some might include sounds coming from the mother's body, such as her stomach growling or heart beating, and in fact, babies can even hear sounds coming from the outside world, such as people singing to them, and loud noises, which may even make the fetus react to it. The most familiar thing that the baby hears is its mother's own voice. Around the 7th and 8th month, a fetus's heart rate slows down slightly whenever his mother is speaking, indicating that the mom's voice has a calming effect. Babies actually recognize their mother's own voice after being born. In one study, doctors gave day-old infants pacifiers that were connected to tape recorders. Depending on the baby's sucking patterns, the pacifiers either turned on a tape of their mother's voice or that of an unfamiliar woman's voice. The amazing result, within 10 to 20 minutes, the babies learned to adjust their sucking rate on the pacifier to turn to their mother's own voice. And this study was concluded by William Pfeiffer, who has a PhD and was an associate professor of psychiatry and pediatrics at Columbia's University College of Physicians and Surgeons. This not only points out a newborn's innate love for his mother's voice, but also a baby's unique ability to learn quickly. One of the most interesting things about the growing fetus is that they actually respond to certain stimuli. These can include anything from light to certain objects. Doctors have found that when performing an amniocentesis procedure, in which they insert a long needle inside the womb, that the fetus will actually try to grab a hold of the needle, while others may shy away from it. Also, fetuses respond to light as well. Doctors and researchers have concluded that when they shine a bright light up inside the fetus, that the baby can actually see a faint glow of light being transmitted into the womb. In response, the baby quickly turns away from the bright light because they are used to the heavy darkness of the womb. The human fetus also learns to taste and smell, all while still developing in utero. Taste buds develop in a fetus around the 7th or 8th week, and by week 14 there is some evidence to suggest that he can taste bitter, sweet, or sour flavors in the amniotic fluid. Studies have shown that what the mother eats while her baby is developing will affect its eating habits long after birth. The more varied a mother's diet during pregnancy and breastfeeding, the more likely that the infant will accept a new food. An unborn baby not only tastes these foods, but can smell them as well. Amniotic fluid actually carries the aroma of what the mothers eat. In utero, the baby is constantly breathing in and swallowing this. The amniotic fluid not only has the smell of the foods the mom eats, but the smell of the mother as well. Now, there isn't much to do while the baby is in utero, so they have to come up with ways to entertain themselves. Most of the times, babies are sleeping and perhaps dreaming. There's no way to actually monitor the brainwaves of the fetus, but studies have shown that babies in utero experience rapid eye movement sleep patterns, and this is the type of sleep associated with dreaming. Babies also learn to suck a thumb, which gives way to their sucking patterns in breastfeeding. When the baby is not sleeping or dreaming, the baby will move around, kicking and pushing along the uterine wall, trying to get comfortable. The fetus also spends some of its time in a state of quiet alertness, and this suggests that they may be concentrating on something, listening to mom talking perhaps. In closing, the 9 months before birth are crucial in shaping the rest of the baby's life. The things that the fetus learns while in utero gives way to many things they will experience in the real world. Even before birth, they are already building important skills and developing a strong bond with one of the most important people in their life, their mother. Babies will learn how to breathe, how to eat, and how to see, and much more, all before they are born. It's truly amazing to think about. So back to the original question, where does learning actually begin? Learning begins at the start of life, at conception. As soon as the baby is developed enough, the baby is quickly learning all it's going to need to know to prepare it for the real world.